Good morning, students. In our last class, we have studied the body wall, where here body wall is differentiated. It is classified into two types. One is the diploblastic organisms or the diploblastic body wall, and the second one is a triploblastic body wall, where here the diploblastic, diplo means two, blastic means germ layers. If the organism containing two germ layers, then such type of organisms are called as a diploblastic and organisms, where you are having outer ectoderm and inner and endoderm is presenting. In between outer ectoderm and endoderm will having a gelatinous a substance is presenting. That gelatinous substance which is presenting, we can call that as a mesogly. So here we can see in the coelentrates, coelentrates and ctenophores, we can see the diploblastic and organisms, well having two germ layers. Later the triploblastic means having three germ layers are presenting, such as outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm and inner and endoderm. So well having three germ layers are presenting, where this type of organisms are called as the triploblastic and organisms, where here it starts with the platyhelminthes to the and highly, that is chordates, including will having a three germ layers. That means tissue layers are presenting. In embryonic stage of gastrula stage will having three germ layers are presenting. So the tissue layers which are present in the embryonic stage, that then we can call them as germ layers. The germ layers are three: ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. Outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm and inner endoderm. This is where we have discussed or studied in the last classes. Next, coming to the symmetry. So here symmetry, what is symmetry means? A division of the body, the division of the body into two sides. That means here division of the body into two identical halves of the main axis body is known as the symmetry. That means division of the body, the division of the body into two sides or two identical halves, or two identical halves of the main axis of the body. Then this process we can call as the symmetry. That means when you cut the organism in any, that is cutting the body from the main axis, we are cutting. Here we have to produce two identical halves or two sides, the same parts are producing. Then we can call this as a symmetry. So here the symmetry is basically there are two type of symmetries are presenting. One we can call as an asymmetrical or asymmetry, and the second one is the symmetrical. So here the asymmetry means division of the body in any vertical, in any direction. We cannot able to produce two identical halves or not be produces, then it is called as an asymmetry. That means the division of the body, the division of the the division of the body, the division of the body, the division of the body in any direction, in any direction, in any direction, cannot produce two identical halves, then it is called as an asymmetry. That means when you cut any direction, we are cutting here equal parts cannot be produced, then this type of symmetry is called as that is we can call that as an asymmetry. Example we can see in here, amoeba, snails and the sponges, some sponges. So these are an example where when you cut the organism in any vertical plane, any plane or any direction, if you are cutting, we cannot be produce two identical halves, then it is called as an asymmetry. So here next, symmetrical means when division of the body is taken place, here two identical the hulls are producing, then we can call this as asymmetrical. That means division of the body, the division of the body in any direction, or any plane or any vertical plane getting off two identical halves, then it is called as asymmetrical asymmetry. We can call that as symmetrical asymmetry. Means when you cutting any direction or any vertical one plane, here we are able to producing two identical the halves are able to produces, then such type of symmetry we can call as symmetrical asymmetry. So here there are the various types of the symmetrical asymmetries are presenting. So what are that? Now we will discuss the one by one. So here the symmetrical symmetry is classified into different types. So here that are first one is universal symmetry, that is spherical symmetry. Spherical symmetry. And the second one is the radial symmetry. And the third one is the bilateral symmetry. And the last one is the biradial symmetry. So here there are the four types of the symmetries, that is the symmetrical asymmetries are presenting, that are one is the spherical symmetry and radial symmetry, bilateral symmetry and radial symmetry. So here when you cut the organism, that means when the body is divided, when the body can be divided into two identical halves, two identical body parts, similar parts by any plane passing through the center of the axis, passing through the center of the axis, then we can call this as the spherical symmetry. That means when the division of the body, when the division of the body can produce two identical halves. When the division of the body can produce two identical halves in any plane, passing through the center of the central axis of the body, central axis of the body, passing through the central axis of the body is called as the spherical symmetry. This spherical symmetry can be seen in wall walks and radial area. In these organisms, we can say that is this spherical symmetry is taken place in animals. That is rare conditions. It is taken place, but that is passing through the center of the axis. Through the center of the axis, if their passing is taken place and can produce two identical halves are produces, then such type of symmetry we can call as the spherical symmetry, or otherwise we can use the word as universal symmetry also. It is we can call as a universal symmetry. It is also called as an universal symmetry also. So here when the division of body can produce two identical halves in any plane passing through the center axis of the body. That means through the center of the axis, if the passing here producing two identical the halves are produces, then such type of symmetry we can call as symmetrical. That is called as the spherical symmetry, or otherwise you can call that as a universal symmetry. And this is seen in rare in animals. Example, wall walks and radial area, we can take and place the examples of the spherical symmetry. Next, coming to the radial symmetry. Here, radial symmetry means when the division of the body can produce two identical halves in any plane along through the central axis of the that is alone. Here we are producing similar body parts along central axis of the body. Along the central axis we are producing. That means when the division of the body, when a division of the body can produce two identical halves, in any plane along the central axis of the body, along the central axis of the body, then we can call that as the radial symmetry. We can call that as any plane along, not alone, sorry, here, along any plane along the central axis of the body, then we can call this as the radial symmetry. Here the radial symmetry is classified into three types. It is classified into three types. And also here examples, if you see in the examples, the coelentrates and the ctenophores and echinoderms. So these are an example where we can see the radial symmetry. That means when you cut the organism in any vertical plane, any vertical or any plane, and along with the central axis of the body, along the central axis of the body, or when you cut the organism, you are producing two identical hulls are produces. That means when you cut the organism in any vertical plane or any plane, if you are cutting along the central axis, and here we are producing two identical the hulls are produces. For example, if you say this is an animal, when you cut the organism in any vertical plane, here we are able to getting two identical the hulls are produces. Then such type of the symmetry is called as the radial symmetry. This radial symmetry is seen in coelentrates, ctenophores, as well as in echinodermatous. And also here, based on the presence of the radial symmetry, here it is classified into three types. It is classified into three types. One is tetramerous radial symmetry, and the second one is the pentamerous radial symmetry, and the third one is the hexamerous radial symmetries. These are the three types of symmetries. So what are that? Now we will discuss the one by one. The radial symmetry. The radial symmetry is classified into three types. So first one is the tetramerous radial symmetry. And the second one is the pentamerous radial symmetry. And the third one is the hexagonal or hexamerous the radial symmetry. So here it is classified, the radial symmetry is classified into three types. That is the tetramerous. Tetra means four. That means body division of the body is produces four hulls or multiples of four. If they are producing, then we can call this as the body parts are arranged. That is, the body parts are arranged in the form of four or multiples of four, or the body parts are arranged in the form of five or multiples of five. We can call as a pentamerous. If body parts are arranged in the form of six or multiples of six, then is called as the hexamerous. So here the tetramerous means body parts. The body parts are arranged arranged in 4 or multiples of 4 or multiples of 4, then it is called as the tetramerous radial symmetry. This can be seen in a jellyfish. It can be seen, that is tetramerous, the radial symmetry can be seen in a jellyfishes. That means when you cut the organism in any vertical plane along the central axis, if we cut here, we are able to get 4 identical halves are produced. Then we can call them as the body parts are arranged in the form of 4 or a multiples of 4. Then it is called as the tetramerous, the radial symmetry. And here the tetramerous, pentamerous, the body parts are arranged in 5 or multiples of 5, then it is called as the pentamerous. Penta means 5, mirrors means images. So here when you cut the organism in any vertical plane along the central axis, here 5 identical hulls are produced. Then such type of symmetry we can call as the pentamerous radial symmetry. This pentamerous radial symmetry we can see in echinodermata. Example, a starfish. We can see in here a starfish. A fish in this, so we can see when you cut the organism here 5 identical hulls are produced. Then such type of the radial symmetry is called as the pentamerous, the radial symmetry. Next, the hexamerous, the body parts. The body parts are arranged. The body parts are arranged in 6 are the multiples of 6. Then it is called as the hexamerous, the radial symmetry. Example we can see in sea anemones. Example we can see in sea anemones. Sea anemones. In sea anemones, we can see the hexamerous, the radial symmetry. That means when you cut the organism in any vertical or any plane, here any plane, that means any vertical plane, when you cut, we are cutting along the central axis, we are able to produce 2 identical hulls should be produced. Then we can call as a radial symmetry. The radial symmetry is classified into 3 types based on the presence of producing of the body parts. That is the tetramerous, 4 parts are produced. The pentamerous, 5 parts are produced, and hexamerous we are producing the 6 parts are produced, that is arranged parts. So this process is called as the radial symmetry. And next, coming to the third one. The third one is the bilateral symmetry. Here the division of the body parts, the division of the body and can produce 2 identical hulls in only 1 vertical plane. Here the division of the body, division of the body can produce 2 identical hulls in only 1 vertical plane. a plane, then it is called as the bi means two, lateral. That means when you cut the organism, for example, if you say this is an organism, when you cut the organism in only one vertical plane, here we are getting two identical, the hulls are produces, then such type of symmetry we can call as the bilateral asymmetry. Bi means two, lateral, that means in only one lateral side, or when you cut the organism in only one vertical plane. For example, myself, if you taken place, when you cut in only one vertical plane, here we are able to produce the two identical hulls are produces, then this type of symmetry is called as the bilateral asymmetry. Example, here a bilateral symmetry example we can taken place as annelida, arthropoda, and all vertebrates, including humans also. So here these are the various types, so that is the bilateral symmetry. That means in radial symmetry, in any vertical plane, if we cut, we are getting two identical hulls. But in bilateral, when you cut the organism in only one vertical plane, this is vertical plane, we are getting two identical hulls are producing, then this type of symmetry. That means here two equal identical hulls are produced in a bilateral symmetry. So this type of symmetry is called as the bilateral asymmetry, where we can see in annelidans, arthropodans, and the vertebrates, all vertebrates, including the humans also. Next, coming to the last one, that is a biradial asymmetry, that we will discuss now. Next, coming to the biradial symmetry, the fourth one, the biradial asymmetry. So here biradial means here the body, the division of the body, that means when body is divided into two identical halves, when the body divided into two identical halves, by two vertical planes, by two vertical planes, but the parts present in one plane are not similar in the parts present in another plane, then this type of symmetry. That means when you cut the organism in two vertical planes, we cut the similar parts are not be produced. That means one vertical plane, that is one plane parts are not similar with the another plane of the parts, then such type of symmetry we can call as the biradial, or otherwise here it consists of two radial symmetry, that is the bilateral symmetry as well as the radial symmetry is presenting. If the organism which consists of both the bilateral as well as the radial symmetry. Here bilateral and radial are different. So here the parts which are present in one plane are different to the another part of the another plane, where here one part we can take in place as a bilateral symmetry, and another part, another plane we can take in place as the radial symmetry. So here there are not similar parts are not be producing, then such type of the symmetry we can call as the biradial symmetry. So here an example, if you see an example, here we can see in sea anemones, like comb jellies, and also here we can see in echinoderms. That means here the one plane, here bilateral symmetry means here either in larval stages or in adult stage, any one of these, that means in two stages. In larval stage it may be consist of bilateral symmetry, and in adult stage here it shows the radial symmetry. So here if you see for example the echinoderms in larval stages, here the larval stage, in larval stage the symmetry is bilateral symmetry. When you cut the organism, here two identical halves are produced, but when it becomes adult, here it shows the radial symmetry, that is a pentamerous radial symmetry is taken place. So when you cut the organism in any parts, that is two identical halves by two vertical planes, here two similar body parts are producing, then such type of symmetry we can call as the biradial. That means bi means bilateral, radial means radial symmetry. Here bilateral and radial symmetry both are presenting. So in any one of these stages will having these two symmetries are presenting, then such type of symmetry we can call as the biradial symmetry, where we can see in sea anemones, second one is comb jellies, and the third one is the echinoderms. So these are the four types of symmetries, that is a universal or otherwise spherical symmetry, a radial symmetry, a bilateral symmetry, and also the bilateral symmetry, that is the spherical, radial, bilateral, and biradial symmetries. This is about the topic of the radial symmetries. Next, coming to the next one, that is a body plane. Here coming to the a second one, that is the next one is the body plane. The body plane. So what is this body plane means? The size and shape of an organism. The size and shape. The size and the shape of animals shows a great diversion, where it shows a great diversion. So on the basis of animals, there are three types of the body plane. That is, here will shows that the size and shape of an organism will shows a great diversions, or shows a great diversity. That is the size and shape of animals, the size and shape of the animals, shows a great diversity. It shows a great diversity. Then this is called as a body plan. Here basis of this body plan, on the basis of that body plan, on the basis of body plan, on the basis of the body plan, here this is classified. It is classified into three types. It is classified into three types. So the first one is the cell aggregate, the cell aggregate or aggregation, the cell aggregation. The cell aggregation, the cell aggregation. The second one is the blind sac plan, and the third one is tube within a tube plan. So here the cell aggregated plan, and second one is the blind sac plan, and the third one is a tube within a tube plan. These are the three types of the body plans, where they are based on the diversity of the size and shape. Here these are classified into three types. So what are that three types? Now will be discussed. That is, one is what are that cell aggregation plan, a blind sac plan, and a tube within a tube plan. Now one by one we'll discuss. Now coming to the first one, that is the cell aggregation. First one, the cell aggregate plan. So here cell aggregated plan means in this plan, here the cells are aggregated. Here the cells are aggregated. This aggregation of cells are taken place. That is, aggregation of cells are taken place. There is no tissues or formations are not taken place. Then this type of plan we can call as the cell aggregated plan. That means here in this we can see in this body, in this a body is just on in this body plan, in this body plan, in this body plan, just the aggregation of cells, but not tissues formation, but not aggregation of cells, but not tissues formation, Here coordination between the cells is not be taken place, and also the coordination between cells, the cells not been seen. So here this type of segregation we can call as the cell aggregation. So here there is no coordination between them. That means here the cells, the coordination between the cells is not be taken place or not be seen. So this type of aggregation we can call as the cell aggregation, where we can see this can be seen in sponges. We can see in sponges. Example is the sponges we can see in, where here the cell aggregation of cells are taken place, but the coordination between the cells is also not be taken place. Then such type of body plane we can call as the cell aggregation plan. Next, coming to the second one, that is the blind sac body plan. The blind sac body plan. So here this is seen in a multicellular organisms, where tissues and tissue organ system grade of organizations are taken place, where here will having one opening only will be presenting. In this a digestive system, you are having only one opening is presenting. That one opening which is presenting, it helpful for the ingestion of the food material is taken place through the one opening only, and ingestion of food materials or elimination of waste materials are taken place through that one opening only. So this type of body plan we can call as the blind sac a body a plan. Here we are having the two type of the body, that is we can see in this multicellular animals having a tissue or a organ system organization, but it is incomplete alimentary canal which having single opening, having a single opening is presenting. So here in this multicellular organism, in this multicellular organisms where it shows in the multicellular organisms shows tissue or organ system level of organization organ system organization, and shows incomplete digestive system, where having a single opening, that is single opening is presenting, that single opening meant for single opening meant for ingestion means the taking of food materials, and also egestion means elimination of waste materials. So here through the single opening only, that is taking of food materials is taken place through the single opening, and that is only one opening is presenting. So here this opening will act as both the taking of food materials as well as the leaving of food materials through this single opening only taken place, that is ingestion as well as egestion, that is taking of food materials and leaving of food materials are taken place through the single opening only. Then such type of the body plan we can call as a blind sac a body a plan. We can call that as a blind sac a body a plan, and this can be seen in platyhelminthes and also in coelentrates. We can see in here the coelentrates and platyhelminthes. We can see these type of a body plan. Examples are the blind sac body plan. Example is coelentrates, and the platyhelminthes are an example of the blind sac will having only one opening is presenting, which meant for the ingestion and egestion, that is ingestion and egestion is taken place through the one opening only. So this type of body plan is called as the blind sac a body a plan. Next, coming to the last plan, that is a tube within a tube plan. Next, third one, The third one is a tube within a tube plan. So here tube within a tube plan means in multicellular organisms, in multicellular organisms. Here multicellular organisms where shows the organ system organization where shows the organ system organization and having the complete a digestive system, where consists of two openings, such as one opening is mouth, which is present in anterior part. One is mouth which is present in anterior part, and another opening is the anus or cloacal part, or anus or cloacal part present in posterior part. That means here in these organism we having a tube within the tube. That means here tube outside will having tube, inside alimentary canal another tube is presenting. So in multicellular organisms which having the organ system grade of organization, here two tubes are presenting. So one tube is outside body wall, outside body, and inside another tube, that is alimentary canal. So here having a tube within the tube. That means one tube is present outside and another is present inside the another tube. So we can call as a tube within the tube, and having two openings are presenting. One opening is called as a mouth, which is helpful for the ingestion, that is taking of food materials are taken place through the mouth, and that is present in the anterior part of the, that means on the top of the body it is presenting. And the another part is, another opening is the anus, or otherwise you can call as a cloacal part present in the posterior, that is present at the anterior, that is posterior end of the body. It is containing another opening that is called as anus, where it helpful for the elimination of the waste materials. So here presence of two openings, one is taking food materials through one tube, and another tube the elimination of waste materials are taken place. So this type of organisms are called as a tube within the tube plants. And here we can see in here examples we can in these body plants, in this body plants, here it is classified into two types. Again it is divided, it is again divided into two types. So first one is protostomic organisms, protostomic organisms, and the second one is the deuterostomic organisms. So one is a protostomic and organisms, and the second one is the deuterostomic and organisms, where here deuterostomic and organisms, that is proto means first, here the proto means first, the stomach means the mouth. Here in these organisms, the mouth, first the mouth formation is taken place, and later the anus formation is taken place. So such type of organisms are called as the protostomach. That means here based on the presence of a blastopore of the gastrulation, that is in the gastrulation of the embryonic development of a blastopore. Here based on the blastopore, here these are classified into two types. One is the protostomic and deuterostomic. Here the blastopore is developed here the blastopore is developed into mouth. Later the anus formation, later the anus formation is taken place. That means the blastopore in this organism, blasto means proto means first, blastomic means mouth. Here the first mouth is produced, that is from the blastopore the mouth development is taken place, and later the anus formation is taken place. Then such type of organisms are called as the protostomic and organisms. Examples we can see here: Asci helminthes, Annelida, arthropoda and mollusca. So these are the various types of that is an example for a protostomic organism, where the blastopore is developed into anus, later the the blastopore is developed into mouth, later the anus formation is taken place. So such type of organisms are called as the protostomic organisms. Example: Asci helminthes, Annelida, arthropoda and molluscans. Next, the second one, deuterostomes. Deutero means second. Deutero means second, stomach means stomach, that is mouth. So here the mouth is formed later. First the anus formation, later the mouth formation is taken place. That is here the blastopore is developed into anus. The blastopore develops into anus, and later mouth formation taken place. Later mouth formation taken place. That means secondly the mouth formation is taken place. So that here the firstly the anus, that is from the blastopore the anus development is taken place, later the mouth formation is taken place. So we can call it as a deuterostomic organisms. But in protostomic, here blastopore is developed into mouth and later anus formation. But in deuterostomes, here first anus formation is taken place, later the mouth formation, that is secondly the mouth formation is taken place. So we can call them as a deuterostomic and organisms. Examples, here example we can take place: echinoderms, Derms and all vertebrates or chordates. All vertebrates are chordates that are produced from the deuterostomes, where here they later secondly the mouth formation is taken place. First the blastopore is developed into anus, later the mouth formation is taken place. Then such type of organisms are called as deuterostomic and organisms. So this is where that is taken place in a tube. Within the tube will having two openings are presenting. So one is the mouth, which is taken place the food materials, and another opening is the elimination of waste materials, that is anus, where that is present in posterior part. Based on the presence of the blastopore, that is based on the presence of blastopore formation, here the organisms are classified into two types, that is protostomic and deuterostomic. If the blastopore is developed into a mouth, they are called as the protostomic organisms. If the blastopore is developed into anus, later mouth formation is taken place, then we can call them as deuterostomes. All vertebrates and echinoderms are the example for the deuterostomic and organisms. So this is about the body plan. So in the next class that we will discuss the remaining the characters or the important characters that we will discuss in the next class.